Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Billy Maine. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2026. April 15th, 2026. And we're doing our first Billy Maine story time this year because I've had some serious issues in my life, and my roommate passed away after a very brief and aggressive illness in late January/early February of 2026, and I have been dealing with picking up pieces of that, and it's going to take a long time. We were together for 17 years, and it was hell. It is hell, but I've been working on the Billy Maine stuff for a few weeks now, and I'm just trying to get back to some sort of schedule. It's hard because my body and the temperatures and stuff and the weather and just having stuff to do and everything seems to be a bit difficult at times, but today's a good day, and we're going to try and do as much as we can. I've got enough to do some if I wanted to later on this week or early next week. Next week is 420. That would be fun. God, my boyfriend loved 420. I'm going to just say my partner loved 420, and it was a great day that we used to celebrate together. And I can still do that for myself. And remember him, and maybe I'll do a story time. I mean, we literally started this in 2000 as my friend started reading poetry. I'm like, well, I can do that. So that's how we got through the COVID and the pandemic, and then we kept doing it, and then I happened to live in Lewiston, Maine in 2023 when we got had a mass shooting and everything else. I've just decided to continue it, and it seems really interesting. We've had the last 2.5 years on YouTube. I will share a link to that soon. I think it should have been put up already. If not, I will put that up sometime this week. Yeah, we have the last 2.5 years on YouTube. That took a while to get up, but hopefully this will be more than often than not now. The big news today is that Graham Plattner, who is running for the Democratic nomination to run against Susan Collins in the general election. He's running against Janet Mills right now, and Dominic, somebody, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. He's way far back in the polls, to run against Susan Collins in November. And he's been pretty, used the R words quite a few times in his Reddit post. And when talking about his getting his tattoo and what an R thing to do at the time, because he didn't realize it was a neo-Nazi tattoo, which is kind of sad, but he's beating Mills in the polls by over 30 points. Janet Mills has pulled all ads, and I'm not sure who's doing debates, but she did skip out one in March. And she's saying she never committed, and I think I believe that, actually. frustrating because Plattner's got also really homophobic. He uses a homophobic slur quite a bit. And, you know, it's one thing to be gay to use a word, to use a homophobic slur, and it's another thing for a straight person to do it. And for a bro who is in the Marines to do it. I've had so many people say he's such a cool dude, man. He's really down to earth. He's, you know, Bernie likes him, all this stuff. And just like, somebody just doesn't click with me. And maybe it's just because I've been too busy doing other stuff. But I don't like his style. I don't know. And certainly him just using the R word in Reddit post or whatever, just because his tattoo or whatever he did with the, Maine Monitor, but it shows a complete lack of intelligence. I mean, you do that stuff in 2026. I mean, we should be past this by now, you would think. But of course, we're not. Because we're living in Trump land, which is like this weird, crazy-ass multiverse that you just hope they wake up one day and it's gone. Who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky, but and something will happen and things will get better. But you know, we're in the middle of a war with Iran, and gas is $6 a gallon for my, or over $5 for my oil tank that I live in, for the house I live in, and over, close to $4 for my car. And I gotta get my car inspected this month. I'd rather, you know, keep oil in my tank, and it's scary and it's frustrating. And he's only done things to make sure the tax bracket, and it is the 15th, so of the 50,000 plus, it is reduced, and everyone else has to pay more and pay more health for their health insurance. I know people are paying $36,000 a year for health insurance. I mean, that's crazy. And that's just for health insurance. You know, that's not rent or heat or, you know, mortgages. It's just ridiculous. I mean, to be broke right now, is hard. I mean, financially it's hard for everyone right now. I mean, I know that I see that all the time with people I know. And it's, you know, despite that, yes, Governor Mills of Maine is going to give everyone a $300 tax relief check to help things out. That just passed this week. It was signed. Right now it's April. It's actually going to happen sometime mid-July. You need to file your income taxes for 2025, which means you have to save. If you don't owe any money, you have until whenever. And if you're disabled, it's usually pretty easy. If you don't work, it's just, if you just receive SSI and SSDI, it's usually a 10-minute thing. I don't want to give any tax advice because that's way beyond my abilities, but you can call Country Legal or low-income tax assistance or someone, and just do a Google search. I'm sure you can find a way. I mean, it's really easy to file your own taxes on the state of Maine website, even for the tax Department of Taxation. So that's, I think, two. Now getting $300 that passed by Janet Mills this year, actually this week. And she is getting some pushback to XP. a tactic to get elected, but, gas has never been this expensive this fast. We're at war with Iran. Donald Trump is using rhetoric that harkens back to the Cold War and even before that. And it's kind of scary to be looking at this all the time and thinking, holy shit, what's going to happen? So, the Maine DD Council is asking people to give their input to a 5-year survey of how disabled people are being treated in give me a second, I'll put a link there. And their website is mainedDDC.org. And if you go to the second page, they're going to have the first page when you open up their website. It's very easy to get involved. You can just go to About and read the 5-year plans, which is, they've already got that done. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. If you go to 22 to 2026, that's well, I guess that must have been done. I guess that thing must be done, but you can see what the goals are done through the last 5 years, which is cool. And their website's worth looking at. I guess I misread their post, or their thing must be done by now, but apparently they're not doing that survey anymore. I'm hearing that so 2 years ago, the Department of Justice released technical guidelines for the ADA. Obviously, the ADA wasn't really working on how accessible the internet was going to be in 1990 when most of the internet didn't exist in 1990. I would say barely existed in 1995, certainly nothing like it does 30 years later, or 31 years later. So what's going on with that is they're saying that small communities are having more of a difficult time than larger communities. And we're talking governments here, people who have to follow this anyway. So it shouldn't be a big deal. But now they're trying to say that the technical aspects of, making websites accessible and stuff, it's just too much for people to deal with, and not useful for people to be able to go through by the time that they're supposed to be enacted. However, everything's going to be enacted anyway. They've had 2 years to do this. In other news, they're suing SeaWorld. The Department of Justice is suing SeaWorld and Busch Gardens in Florida over the issues around people who bring in rollators that have sitting mechanisms, because SeaWorld and Busch Gardens was saying that they posed a risk because they were being misused, and so they were making people pay for wheelchairs that they didn't need, and apparently they're in negotiations with that, and that's going on as well. One of the big issues with the Department of Justice right now I want to spend some time with, because it is really important, even though it doesn't directly affect Maine in any way. It does affect, and I do apologize for the way my, I'm seeing better now, so I'm more on camera now. I think it's just the way my new iPad case looks, and it doesn't really get me the best view I need. Was this Texas versus Kennedy case that's being brought up, and how it's being used to fight Section 504. Shout out to, for a week and a half ago, or 10 days ago actually, exactly, was the 49th anniversary of the start of the 504 Synod in San Francisco, led by Judy Hewitt, who I sat next to at the White House in 2001. I've seen her a bunch of other times too. She's amazing, or was amazing. So on January 25th, 9 states, Alaska, Florida, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, South Dakota, and Texas renewed their attack on Section 504 and the right to live in the community. It's certain disabled rights and education defense fund, credit.org. The 9 states have ruled about the integration mandate published by the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, is unlawful and unconstitutional. The integration mandate is also called the Olmstead, from a 1999 Supreme Court case that ruled that unjustified segregation of disabled people in institutions violates federal disability rights laws. 9 states asked that the federal court block the integration rule and all of Section 5, the 504 regulations that were updated in 2024. The parties proposed a briefing schedule that starts May 4th, 26th, and on July 7th, 2026. The court agreed with the schedule. That means now it's time for people who live in 9 states to call those states Attorney General and Governor to defend Section 504 and Olmstead. And if you're not from those areas, but you could be, or you have friends from those areas, or relatives, by all means, call them and tell them that, you know, these are important. This also means that the disability community and its allies will file amicus briefs in June 2026. The attack on Olmstead is happening just as Dreda and its partners are documenting the Olmstead effect, how information on the integration mandate led to a significant reduction in the number of disabled people who are institutionalized or at risk of institutionalization. Is a regulated system change that allows services that make disabled people need to successfully live in the community. And so Texas versus Kennedy, which was previously Texas versus Braceria, is a court case in Texas that was filed in Texas in September of 2024. A group of 17 states sued the United States government. 17 states at that time were Texas, Alaska, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, South Dakota, South Carolina, Utah, and West Virginia. The complaint asked the court to get rid of Section 504 and update rules from 2024 that protect people with disabilities from discrimination in healthcare and human services. The case changed over time, in part due to the 2024 election and subsequent steps by the Trump administration, and in part due to the advocacy of the disability community. Please give me a moment. I just need to have something to drink. As in water. Water is good. Thank you. So, continuing, 9 states renewed their attack on January 21st, 2026 on Section 504 and the ability to live in the community. 9 states said that a rule about integration mandate published by HHS is unlawful and unconstitutional. 9 states said that asking the federal court to block the rule about integration in all of Section 504 regulations that were updated in 2024. Section 504 is an important law that protects people with disability and covers all parts of society against money from the U.S. government. Section 504 says that you cannot discriminate against disabled people if you get money from the U.S. government. Section 504 says you cannot treat people badly or excuse them because of their disabilities. You must include people with disabilities in programs and provide reasonable accommodations. You must provide services for people with disabilities in integrated settings. This means providing services in the community instead of only institutions like hospitals and nursing homes. Section 504 has rules that explain what disability discrimination is. The rules say that places like schools, hospitals, and doctors' offices have to include people with disabilities. The rules say these places have to do with what these places have to do to include people with disabilities. The rules say that states and local healthcare, mental health, and disability agencies have to think about people with disabilities and make sure they get their services in the community and not just in institutions. The U.S. government managed the first Section 504 rules in 1977. Many disabled people protested to make sure that the government made the rules strong. The U.S. government updated Section 504 rules over time. The government did an update in 2024. Many disabled advocates wrote to the government about what to put in the rules. The updated rules are stronger, have more examples of what disability discrimination is. The updated rules give more explanation about how state and federal agencies must make sure that people with disabilities can get the services in the community and not be forced into the institution. And it's sad that we're talking about institutions in 2026, but apparently they're being built all over the country now because of ACE rates and stuff. And I read something like 55 people died in ACE custody since all that happened, which is ridiculous. And the latest on this lawsuit is that the states have said that they Following a joint notice asking the court to wish to stay or pause on the litigation. It's told the judge that since they can be decided through summary judgment, summary judgment means that each side files papers on the case, and the judge decides state the federal government as judge to set a schedule for filing papers with the court. The judge agrees and says all their papers on May 4th, but the government will file a paper on June 15th, which would be 2 months from now, and then states will have more papers on July 7th. So that's what's going on with that, and unfortunately don't have much more information other than March 9th update on that, although it's really important because if that gets tough, that would like really screw people who need independent community-based services in those United States. And the other cool thing that's happened in the last 2 months, it's been a while since I've done these because it's been since December and it's not so bad. Why do it? Just, life happens and you can't possibly predict what's happened to me in my family and my partner and my chosen family and the people I've been with for the last 17 years. Some of the cool things that have happened is that Nike and Adidas, both major shoe companies, have made 2 different pairs of shoes. Nike made one that was for people with limited dexterity, and then the Flyes, using the Flyes technology, and then got slammed because of the way that they rolled them out. Basically, sneakers are so in such tight demands that the Bats released a lot of streetwear companies like Supreme does the same thing, where they really release X number of shoes, X number of shirts, X number of things like that, and that's what drives their value up on the resale market. So the Nike accessible shoes with the Flyes technology went for $120 retail, but in order to get a pair, they were $500 on resellers' sites. And that's part of sneaker culture. It's disgusting if you don't know about it. It's not so disgusting if you are into it, and I'm sort of into it. I'm definitely a sneaker geek, and I probably spent too much on my sneakers, but in the last couple of years, but that's going to probably be ending because I have more than enough shoes to last me for the rest of my life, probably. Knock on wood. But anyway, and Adidas Sports was the first athlete with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman, and some other disabled athletes to do their shoe, and their shoe looks a lot different than the Nike shoe. Haven't heard anything about how that release went, whether it was sold out instantaneously. I haven't seen that kind of frustration or anything. But I would think that was okay. It seems really cool. And it really sucks that I didn't get to see the Paralympics or talk about them online or watch them here on Facebook. I would have loved to have done more, but I just had too much going on in my life. And, I guess the tickets for the Paralympics are actually going on sale next year, not this year. And I know that the Olympics tickets are almost sold out for the first wave of tickets that are being sold, but the Paralympics some of the games will not be going on sale until next year. So if you're trying to go and see the Paralympics in 2028 in Los Angeles, I do recommend it. I think it's like, I went 30 years ago in 96 to the Paralympics in Atlanta. It was absolutely brilliant. It was amazing. It was one of the best things I ever did. But I know that getting tickets last 30 years ago was so much easier. Honestly, it was ticket after I got front row seats for the opening ceremonies. And it was so unattended that I could just get a $10 seat and walk away. It was the most expensive seats for any of the games anyway. With that, I'm going to say this is the end of the April 15th story time. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry I didn't do a preview. I'm sorry I didn't do a promo. I meant promo, not preview. They both work, I guess. But have a great day. Keep a good thought and do good. Peace.